How's today been?
Not bad. It's only 10 o'clock over here, so kind of day's just getting started. Did some cardio this morning, and then just kind of waited around for the call. So doing pretty good. How about you? I know it's like what, 4 o'clock or something like that over there.
It's 6 over here. Just
6.
from work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said you did some cardio this morning. What's your normal schedule look like throughout the week then for training?
So usually I wake up, do some fasted cardio. It's like 30, sometimes 40 minutes. And then 10 and 11 o'clock, I usually train with my coach. Usually do like some striking combos, kickboxing stuff. And then in the afternoon, it's either rounds or jiu-jitsu. And that's like kind of later in the evening, like 6 or 7. So, sometimes like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, usually get in, like a lifting session in the early afternoons, and then I'll get into more in the evening. So it's pretty good, pretty
Sounds
busy
pretty
day.
intense,
I'm usually wiped by the end of the week. I just want to sleep.
Yeah. Is that I know you said it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do weights as well. Yep. But is that every single day of the week?
Monday, Wednesday, well. Friday. Yeah, just 3 times a week. Sometimes I get in 4. It just depends on how I'm feeling and kind of how sore I am and stuff. So I kind of judge it off that. If I feel like I've had a lighter week and I need a little bit more weights, and usually I get that in.
Yeah. Is that all at Catalyst MMA?
It is. Yep.
Yeah. How did you get started in the sport, if you don't mind me asking, and sort of how did you find Catalyst? Have you always been training there, or?
Yeah, so I actually started there. So in the States, I moved from right after college. I moved from South Carolina, which is in the South, and then all the way to Washington, so in like the northwest corner of the nation. And I actually graduated in finance and accounting, so I had like a career in finance and accounting. So I was doing that Monday through Friday, and then a buddy of mine actually kind of was already going to the gym, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to just try this out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because I was going kind of to like a big gym where they just have like a bunch of treadmills, weights, and stuff like that. And I was just doing that all the time, whenever I got home from my job and stuff. And then, so I gave this kickboxing class a try. This was about 6 years ago now, and fell in love with it. I absolutely loved everything about it. And then the rest is kind of history. I stopped going to like the big, well, I guess I still kept going there for like another year or so, but I just stayed at Catalyst, kept going to the kickboxing classes and jiu-jitsu and things like that. And then it kind of snowballed, and the coach reached out to me and he was like, "Do you actually want to do this? Like, do you want to fight, or do you just want to train?" And I said, "Yeah, I've never gotten in a fight before, so let's try it out." And then probably about 6 months later, then I had like my first MMA fight, and that was pretty exciting. And then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. How did you decide that is what you wanted to do then? Because obviously you sound like you had a career in finance so already. Like how did you decide to make that transition?
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. I still did it for quite a while. I only quit my job in 2019. So December of 2019, I stopped finance and accounting and said, this is, if I'm gonna really make a run at this, I need to actually like be serious and be all in. So I was able to save up a little bit of money and then basically commit 100% to fighting and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of how it happened. But whenever I had my full-time career in finance and accounting, I was up probably about 4 a.m. every single day working with coach, and then would work till about 6 a.m. and then get showered and get ready and then go down to Seattle and work 9 to 5 and then be back in the gym in the evening. So my days were packed.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was all worth it.
Yeah. Well, like I say, look where you are now in the UFC.
Exactly.
Had you heard of, obviously, before you started training, have you heard of the UFC? Had you heard of MMA in general?
Yeah, in college and stuff, some of my friends and I, because I was on the track team, so I ran track and cross country, so I was year-round sport in college. And then some of my friends and I would like go to a local bar and see it playing and stuff like that. But I never even dreamed of like at that point in my life, like during college and stuff, being in the UFC or fighting or getting in a fight. I've never, before I started fighting, I had never gotten in a fight. Actually, I hate confrontation. Like anytime like I get an argument, I'm like, okay, yeah, you won. Okay, I don't want to even talk about this. So, which is kind of funny, you know, like now I'm all in, but yeah, I love it. Who knew I liked getting punched in the face and punching people in the face. I absolutely love it.
I wonder what made it pique your interest then to start training.
Yeah, probably. So like I said, I ran track and cross country in high school and college, and I love being competitive. I mean, I'm like competitive about everything. You know, it can be the smallest thing. Like even if I go to like a restaurant or something like that, and there's like darts there. I don't play darts, but like, or pool or something like that, I'll try to whoop everybody's ass in anything that I do. So yeah, after I was just like working full time in my finance job, and then just going to the gym every so often, that competitive itch was like still in me, and I didn't know like how to kind of deal with it. I didn't know if I wanted to run like, you know, road races like 5Ks or get into triathlons, or I didn't know really what I wanted to do. And yeah, that's kind of how my buddy was just like, it was pretty much perfect timing, because he was like, do you want to try this MMA gym out? And so I was like, yeah, it'll be different. Let me just give it a shot. So yeah, I think that kind of competitive fire was still burning inside me, and I didn't really know how to deal with it, but it was perfect timing, and everything kind of works out the way it's supposed to, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, coming from like an athletic background, like you say, like when you first started training, what sort of came to you more easily? Was it the grappling or the striking side, do you think?
I think the striking, I kind of had a knack for that right off the bat. And my cardio has always been really good. So I've never had an issue with, you know, being in shape or things like that. So, but the wrestling, I've always been super intrigued. Like even in high school, I would always go watch the guys wrestling matches just because I loved it so much. I was always super intrigued um, by wrestling. And then once jiu-jitsu fell in my lap too, I was, you know, super attracted to that and just wanted to be like all in, just like do that all the time. But yeah, so but striking kind of came to me first. It was just kind of natural for me, but my love has always kind of been like in the wrestling, jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
because I
You
grew
seem
up
like,
with brothers too, and they were always
yeah,
kind of messing with me and, you know, wanting to wrestle and stuff. And I had no idea what I was doing like way back then when I was little. So
yeah. Are they athletic as well? You often hear like a lot of you know, families that are like all sort of athletic, don't you? If you know what I mean? They're all sort of do the same thing.
yeah, exactly. And growing up with three older brothers, they were always like baseball, football, wrestling, and just I was always trying to keep up with the boys and keep up with them. So it was kind of fun.
Yeah. You look like you've in your two most recent fights, and obviously previously, well, you've utilized your grappling quite a bit. Has that sort of been out of necessity, or is that sort of?
Yeah, definitely. I love the ground. I'm very comfortable with the ground, even more so now. We've just really kind of sat on it, especially after these last two fights. And I think that's something that's, you know, I would consider myself like more of a striker, but now I'm like pretty balanced in all of it. So I feel pretty confident there. So yeah, I have started to, you know, strengthen my weaknesses and things like that. So it has been a little bit of a like an eye-opening experience, and kind of like a awakening that, hey, you do need to focus on this aspect of your game. So it's been a, you know, a blessing. So
Yeah, obviously your UFC debut obviously didn't go the way I don't think anyone was expecting. um, obviously the eye injury. Could you? It was, I think it was a little bit kind of confusing watching the moment, like what actually happened. Was it an eye poke that you got caught with?
Yeah, so obviously it was accidental. I don't blame Tisha for any of that, stray fingers or knuckles or any of that. It happens, and that's exactly what happened. And whenever I talked to the doctor after the fight, he called it a hyphema. So a lot, we've been trying to talk to people about it because they had no idea and were confused about what the stoppage was and everything else. But yeah, the doctor said that there's no way this eye injury could have occurred without an incidental or on purpose eye poke, but it wasn't on purpose. And so anyway, what happens is there causes like a nick or a tear in your eye, and then it causes your iris to fill up with blood. And so that's exactly what happened. And I was actually blind for 48 hours after that.
Yeah.
So yeah, hyphema is not fun. I don't ever want that to happen again. But I was excited and willing to go in for round 2 and round 3 because I think as the rounds go on, I get better and better. But it is what it is. I'm glad that the doctor.
You look like you were still keen to continue this
yeah,
fight, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely wanted to. Even being blind, I was completely blind. But yeah, with my coach kind of seeing that injury and then the doctor coming in, you never know what could have happened. I could have not seen a head kick coming and then, gotten something. But yeah, I'm fortunate for what had happened, and it was the right call, and you move on and move forward. So it was a good experience. Tisha's been nothing but great to me since then. So it's been really good.
Have you spoken to her after that fight then?
Yeah, definitely. After the fight, she reached out and she was like, if you ever want to come out to Denver, just schedule a time. And I've been in contact with her, and she's been super nice. So yeah, it's really cool because after the fight, you hear about like some fighters being like super rude or respectable or whatever, but she's been nothing but nice to me. So I have nothing but good things to say about Tisha. And yeah, she didn't have to be whenever she didn't have to say anything to me after the fight, but she did. And she just basically said like, you're going to have a long road in this industry, and welcome to the UFC. And so she's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously look, I feel like I'm going to do a terrible job pronouncing their name, but the Look Boomy fight.
Yeah, Loma. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a terrible job pronouncing that. That I felt like you did a very good job. I felt like you won that second round in that fight, but it was a very good fight to watch. I really enjoyed it. It seemed like your game plan was just to keep it in the clinch, to sort of wear her down there. Was that your game plan?
Yeah,
going into it.
Yeah, the game plan was to just be a wrestler in that fight, because she hadn't shown much wrestling in her prior fights. So I thought it'd be easier than it actually was to get her down and then ground and pound on the ground. So, but that's not actually what happened. And sort of like halfway through the second round, I turned that game plan around probably a little bit too late. And she's been striking and doing Muay Thai since she was like, I think 5 years old or something. But, in that second round, I found out that I was actually a better striker than her. And so I should have just said, okay, forget the wrestling. Don't worry about that. And just basically turn it into a kickboxing fight. And
Did
I
you hear
think
your
I
coach
started
shouting from the corner that you're quicker than her in the
yeah,
in the
yeah,
striking?
exactly. So I think looking back now, I definitely should have just kickboxed with her, and I would have won that fight, because I think I definitely had round 3, and I think round 2 was super close. So it is what it is. You learn, and you go on. But I'm excited for this next fight. I think it'll be really, really good.
Yeah. Were you surprised by her ability in the clinch at all?
I wasn't expecting her to be as strong as she was. But she was definitely very, she had a very good base, very bottom heavy. She was very, very strong. So it was difficult to take her down.
Yeah. Obviously the next fight, like you're saying, coming up, Godinez.
Yes.
How are you feeling about that at the moment, coming into it?
Yeah, so I don't know like how much research you've done, but Loopy and I have a bit of a back story. I mean, we have some history. We fought each other twice as amateurs.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
um,
so the first one was very frustrating because it was a draw. So, you know, it was only 3 rounds and then we came out and it somehow was a draw. I wrote her back for all of the last round. And I thought easily that I had that fight. And then anyway, probably maybe maybe a year and a half later, we ended up fighting for a 5-round title fight. And Chase Hooper was actually on that card as well. So it was kind of fun. Because he's a Northwest boy. And anyway, I lost a split decision to her a long time ago. And so I don't know, a lot's changed. I've developed more as a fighter. I think she has kind of stayed the same. She's very much just a striker based fighter, but she's very strong. She has a really hard right hand. And but you know, I think I'm excited. I think we've got a really good game plan going into this fight for her, and I think I've still got another 2.5 months to train. So I'm very,
yeah.
very excited to showcase everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew obviously you fought her once as an amateur. I didn't realize you'd fought her twice as an amateur there.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't find any footage on it either, unfortunately, when I was looking
Yeah,
for it.
that promotion that we fought for this local, is a regional promotion. It's called Koga. And they're really kind of secretive about their footage, so they never release it.
Yeah.
So yeah, unless you were actually at the fight and recorded it yourself, you're never gonna find that footage, which
Yeah.
is kind of, it stinks.
Yeah. Do you feel like you said you feel like she hasn't really evolved that much since either of your first fights?
Not much. Every single fight that I've seen, even her in Combate, and then her fight against Jessica I, you know, she looks about the same. I'm assuming that she's going to have more tricks in her bag coming into this fight. That's what I'm totally expecting. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I know the tricks that she does have, and I've got some tricks up my sleeve myself. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Sort of feel like, I'm not sure if the right saying to you, but sort of feel like you're slipping back into sort of is old shoes the right word to right word to use? Sort of like you're sort of carrying on, if you know what I mean, from the first couple fights.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of strange when I mean, I knew eventually we would meet each other in the UFC. That was never a question. I'm just a little bit surprised by how quickly we are meeting each other. So we'll see what happens. But it's kind of funny that they want like two girls that are in the same region, you know, to fight each other. I mean, there's hundreds of probably about 100 straw weights that I could see. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind
Yeah.
of funny that they matched us together. But I know it's a fight easily to promote because we do have history. And I remember the last time that we did fight each other as amateurs, a bunch of people came up to me and asked, they were like, was that your first pro fight? Because it looked like a pro fight. So yeah, it is very easily promoted. So
Yeah. But you've also fought similar people as well, haven't you? I think she has a victory over the not that I mean to rub it in, but your LFA title fight. I think she has a
yes,
victory over that
yeah,
winner, doesn't she?
yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny after that Demopolis fight that she came up and wanted to fight Demopolis at LFA. Yeah, now by no means am I like talking shit or anything like that, but it seems a little bit that she's kind of followed my career, kind of same path. Every kind of step that I do, she's like kind of right behind. So it's fine. It doesn't bother me. But I'm just super excited to showcase the pro that I am versus the amateur whenever we met like a long time ago. So yeah, I mean, that Demopoulos fight was kind of an easy fight if you watched me fight her, to be like, okay, I'm just going to stand up and strike with her. I'm not even going to engage. And of course I lost that fight because I got a little bit too cocky and I was like, okay, I'm just going to, you know, play her game. And then the wildest thing and inverted triangle happened. So yeah, but you know, if you just stand and strike with Demopoulos, you're going to win every single time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you taken from your losses so far in your career, and how have you built on them going forward?
Yeah, I think I've every fight is, you learn so much. And I know they say you either win or you learn, but I've learned a lot from my wins and I've learned even more from my losses. And you know, every fight, like Tisha, she was so fast. I mean, she was violent, she was quick, she was executed everything that she was going to. And so I took that away from her. Loma, I felt like I could take away, hey, you do need to believe in yourself and your striking and really sit on that, but your ground game is also really good. So I don't know, I just learned so much and I'm like, okay, well, you actually need to start like believing in yourself, believing in your skill set and like putting it all together. And that's kind of what I've really taken away from these last 2 fights in the UFC is, you know, I've gotten these chances to showcase them, but now I'm actually like starting to put it in play and believe in myself more so than just being like, yeah, I think I'm a good fighter. It's like, no, you are a really good fighter. You just need to put it all together and then actually believe in yourself. So it's kind of what I've taken away.
Yeah. What's been one of the highlights of your career so far?
Ooh, highlights. I mean, I think going to the UFC is such a huge thing. I think my last fight in LFA
I was going to say that the Daniela Hindley fight.
Hindley, yeah. It was kind of nice, you know. I actually got on the flight to that LFA fight and had no idea who I was going to fight because I was supposed to fight Cynthia Arceo. But she pulled out probably like 2 weeks before and they were searching for a new opponent. And then as I got on the flight to LFA, the matchmaker told my coach, and then my coach told me that, hey, you're going to fight like this brown belt in jiu-jitsu. She's 4-1. And of course, like coming off a loss to Demopoulos, you're like, oh shit, like, okay, she's a brown belt. Like, she's going to be really good on the ground. And then you kind of doubt yourself a little bit. But then once I was in the fight, it was like, okay, I know I have to step up my confidence. I have to believe myself. And then that was starting to play a part in itself. And then once I actually finally choked her out in the first round, I was like, you are good. Like, just start, like start believing in yourself. Like, this was a brown belt. And I think Demopoulos was a brown belt as well. So that was kind of it didn't like wash itself out by any means, but it kind of made me a little bit happier to feel that. And then shortly after that, I mean, some of the guys in LFA, like Sven and then Mark, were like, dude, that's got wheels, so you better just sit on that. You're gonna get a call, it's gonna be okay. And then like a month or so later, we got the call up on short notice. So that's probably the highlight of my last November, December was.
You looked excited
amazing.
After that fight.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, you said earlier how much notice, like, going into this next fight you've got. You sort of enjoying having all this preparation time?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think I got the contract maybe a little bit more than 3 months notice. And so I was like, okay, I can really sit on this. I can really work hard on cardio, push hard, and then really sit and really kind of break everything down. So this time has been really amazing for me to actually, study, watch film, and then start working on our strategy. So it feels like there's a lot of time, but then now it's like, well, now I think there's only like 2 months left. So where's like the first month has gone by so quickly. So I know the last like 8 weeks or 9 weeks is going to go by even faster. So, but I'm thankful for the time.
Yeah. What your training camps normally like for you? Do you try and break your opponent down quite a bit?
Yeah, for sure. We've watched so much film this first month. Really push cardio hard. I'm in the weight room a lot, and then
I was gonna say you
yeah,
wouldn't have to watch as much film, would you? Knowing you.
yeah, exactly. We really just sat on her Jessica I fight, watched that and stuff. But now we're probably done watching film, and now we're just working on strategy, sparring. I've got really good sparring partners, two of which are fighting in Fury FC this weekend in Houston. So that'll be fun. Those two guys, I'm gonna go down there and watch them. But yeah, those guys help me so much. One's a really good wrestler, the other one's a really good striker, jiu-jitsu guy. So I'm excited. I've got an amazing team, so I'm just really, really excited.
Yeah. What's the vibe like at Catalyst?
It's good. It's nice. It's not too big, like an ATT or anything like that. So you kind of get lost in having so many people there. But it almost feels like a family where we're just a close knit bunch. We love sparring with each other like probably 3 or 4 times a week. And we're just so close that we just help each other so much and work on so many different things. And yeah, it's a good group of people.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you fight soon.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on to chat to me.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks so much. I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to chat.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think we're good.
Sounds good.
I'm looking forward to seeing you get that win.